up next on Eco Company.
Life without electricity, that's a challenge some people face every day.
We've gone to Africa, we've seen the impact we've made in a few lives. That alone has made it worth it.
Students bringing sustainable power to African villages.
Then a trip to the zoo. And we've got some special guides greeting us.
I consider myself more conscious of the earth and we as humans. It's our job to respect it.
They're teens who know a thing or two about conservation.
Plus, getting ready for an eco challenge. Going green in 30 days. How teens meet the challenge and make a difference at home and at school.
All that and more on Eco Company.
Starting right now. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Eco Company. I'm Jelena.
And I'm Josh. Here in the US, we take electricity for granted.
I bet you can't even imagine a room without lights.
But in many parts of the world, people simply don't have all the electricity they need, even for essential services.
We found one group of students trying to change all that. Anna caught up with them to find out how.
It's a land that in some ways you could say time forgot, especially when it comes to energy. This is Mali, West Africa, a place where getting clean water is a daily challenge and dependable access to electricity isn't much easier.
We don't have the most reliable electricity here. Within the country, they cut electricity at least every 4 days for about 8 hours.
At this hospital in Kutiala, it could cause real problems, something University of Nebraska student Ashley Smith saw for herself during an internship.
They didn't have enough supplies in terms of technology, and part of the reason they didn't have enough technology is because they spend so much of their money on power. So 20% of their money goes to paying their electric bill every month, and so they can't buy more technology.
In one case, it meant not enough oxygen machines to go around, and a life and death decision.
What we had to do was kind of ask the mother to decide which of the babies that she wanted to live, because they both needed oxygen. We only had one machine. I mean, it was a tough decision for her and for us to kind of watch her make, and it's just a decision that you really wish nobody would ever have to make.
So concerned, Schmidt switched her career course from medicine to engineering, and as a college junior, she founded the nonprofit World Energy Project.
I left knowing that I would never be able to come back to the States and work just a 9-to-5 job and kind of forget about what I'd seen over there.
And what is its core mission?
So the World Energy Project exists to promote sustainable development in impoverished communities around the world through renewable energy systems.
She's talking about solar power, and Schmidt has a posse of fellow students, including Michael Trogdon and Chris Landers, who are helping her make it happen.
You can kind of start from the ground up and really provide these people with fundamental access to energy and power.
Like, we've gone to Africa, we've seen the impact we've made in a few lives. And that alone has made it worth it.
So why go with solar? Well, for one, panels don't rely on a huge electric grid.
In Africa, they don't have an infrastructure with lots of energy networks. Energy access is very limited unless you're in a bigger city. Even then, it's really expensive, so they don't use a lot.
And let's not forget, solar energy is good for the planet.
Renewable energy is clean energy. Fossil fuel technologies are leading us down this path of environmental degradation. They're not sustainable in the long run. We're going to be running out of oil within the next 50 years.
Together, the World Energy Project crew plans fundraising events, finds solutions, and sees them through.
Our first project was to install and fix solar panel systems in and around Kuchala in Mali, West Africa. So we fixed a solar panel system at a school in Kuchala, and then installed a solar-powered drip irrigation system there.
These are smaller, scalable systems that we can have on a community level.
Then there's the Karachi Children and Women's Hospital and its outlying clinics.
They didn't have any power, and so they couldn't refrigerate vaccines, they couldn't sterilize equipment, they couldn't do a number of things that you need power for. And so after we went there and we installed the solar panels and we left, all of a sudden they could do all these things. And so I really just got really passionate, really interested about how renewable energy systems can impact a community that has no power.
And that, they say, is the bigger picture here.
At the heart of really quality of life is energy and access to energy in terms of healthcare, education, clean water, really just everything.
It changes everybody's way of life when you have lights to study under. To have access to modern day utilities really puts everyone on a level playing field.
So from the campus of the University of Nebraska to hundreds of miles away in West Africa, these young humanitarians, engineers, and environmentalists are changing lives, one solar panel at a time.
Knowing that your work is really impacting the world, you can't get enough money to replace that, and to really just find satisfaction in knowing that what you're doing is helping people, you know. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Next, who doesn't like the zoo?
And what better place to lead conservation efforts here and around the world?
Throw in some teens passionate about wildlife.
And that sounds like the place to be when it comes to giving animals a bright future.
It's a wild kingdom out here. Animals every which way you look. But we're not in Africa or the jungles of South America either. This is the Oakland Zoo in Northern California, and it's home to more than 650 animals of all shapes, makes, and sizes.
These are the North American river otters.
It's also where we find Gabby Ponce and Kelsey Peterson.
We have 4 male alligators. Yeah, just see if you can find them all.
They're volunteers with the zoo's Teen Wild Guide program, headed up by Melinda Seaver.
It's really important to us here at the zoo that the zoo can be a place where not only small children can come and learn, but also teenagers and young adults can come and they can become involved in conservation and involved in animal awareness as well.
Ponce and Peterson are old-timers here. As guides, they man stations, help zookeepers, and more.
My job is to educate the public in relation to animals and conservation.
I love learning more and as much as I can take in, and I also just love teaching people. There are only 2 types of alligators in the world, which are American alligators and Chinese alligators.
They also talk about ways to protect wildlife too.
Try not to litter, or don't litter at all actually, because that gets into the ocean sometimes. It gets into different environments, and that's unhealthy for the animals.
Yay!
Part of their job, giving zoogoers a call to action.
So the coin counts as 25 cents, and you get to come choose which animal you like to help out today. You can help out the African elephants who live in Kenya, the chimpanzees who live in Uganda, or you can help out the condors who live here in California.
Yay!
And did we mention they also get to travel?
We do conservation trips every year where we go to visit places where the zoo has a conservation fund that we support.
Myself and 17 others, we went to Uganda and Rwanda in East Africa. And we visited all the conservation projects that the zoo supports, and I fell in love with everything.
Right now, time for us to do some traveling of our own, and that's to Monkeyville. We're headed into the squirrel monkey exhibit. Now, I don't know what to expect, but I do know that I have to wear one of these. All right, let's go.
Whoa.
It takes just seconds to realize that in here, there's never a dull moment.
And there's a lot going on. They're kind of all over the place.
Zookeeper Chelsea Williams knows there's no such thing as quiet time here either.
And they're very social animals, so they make lots of different noises.
Where are they found around the world?
The squirrel monkeys are found in the rainforests of South America.
What type of food do squirrel monkeys eat?
A wide variety of fruits and vegetables. We also feed them nuts and grains. We'll give them cereals, and we also give them bugs.
Oh. Another reason they're so happy is because zookeepers keep them that way. It's something they call animal enrichment.
The reason that enrichment is so important is to make their lives interesting because they're living in captivity and they wouldn't have to deal with the normal problems that squirrel monkeys in the wild would have to deal with.
So what type of enrichment do you have planned for them today?
What we have for them today are some toilet paper rolls that we've strung on string and we've stuffed with lots of good treats, so we can hang those up all over the exhibit.
All right, let's get started. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Okay, time for me to give it a try. Here we go. Just tie it on?
Yep, just tie it on.
Double knot?
Yes, please.
Well, gotta say, these guys look pretty entertained. And soon, we understand what has the baboons so happy too.
Baboons get similar types of enrichment. We're going to do a leaf pile with some hidden treats, some Jell-O cups. We are going to also do some different PVC containers that the baboons have to open in order to get some really tasty cereal treats.
So from keeping animals happy and healthy, to educating the public and learning more themselves, teen guides at the zoo are becoming stronger advocates for wildlife every day.
I think it's really important to try to keep animals safe because it's not really nice to hear about them getting hurt in the wild or in captivity, and they need to be safe and looked after also.
Seaver says getting youth excited and involved is what it's all about.
Teens definitely have a different type of energy in the zoo. They're really committed, they're really wanting to work on projects and look towards their future.
I consider myself more conscious of the earth and we as humans. It's our job to respect it.
They hope to pass this respect on to us all.
Thank you. Good job.
Coming up, get ready for an Eco Challenge, going green in 30 days. How teens are meeting the challenge and making a difference at home and at school.
Then, greenhouse gases? Which one has the biggest influence on climate change? You may be surprised. More Eco Company is next. Have you ever considered how your everyday actions affect the planet, or what you could do to make a positive change? This next group has, and they created a 30-day challenge that helps teens start living greener every day.
We're here at the offices of Teens Turning Green and the headquarters for Project Green Challenge. This is obviously a working office. Let's go see what they're up to.
Lips Against Lead, Project Green Dorm, and now Project Green Challenge.
And we wanted to think big.
This is the home for all of the above, not to mention a few more. It's the Teens Turning Green headquarters in Sausalito, California. Judy Shills is the executive director of the student-led nonprofit.
And Teens Turning Green basically looks at lifestyle, schools, and community and works to eliminate toxic chemicals in each of those realms.
Today, interns Victoire Perez-Vargas and Sabine Tessier are working on Teens Turning Green's latest undertaking, Project Green Challenge.
The ultimate goal would be sort of the tagline of the project, which is going from conventional to conscience in 30 days.
30 days, 30 green topics, and 30 chances to take action.
So as you can see, these are the 30 themes that belong to Project Green Challenge. Every day of the month, there's a new one explored.
Themes include school, paper, climate change, water, food, and fashion.
I would say organic cotton, that's a good one, because one doesn't think, but cotton is like one of the most heavily sprayed crops with like chemicals, and then to think that that's what creates like our clothes and it goes on us.
These guys helped research and write the challenges, which was no small task. Each had 3 levels, also making it a competition.
It's basically to give insight on how teens can incorporate green living into everyday and how simple and easy it is, because these challenges are designed to only take about 20 minutes out of your day.
I joined Project Green Challenge because I don't feel like I live a very environmentally friendly life, but I aspire to live one.
High school senior Lucy Iglesias takes the challenge seriously. She reads up on each daily challenge before she even heads to school.
Why specifically did you decide to sign up and participate?
I've always been kind of interested in being more green.
One thing she's doing is trying out a new ride to get to school.
The energy challenge on Friday made me think about how much I drive. And so one way I thought that I could cut down on that is by taking the bus down to the BART station.
And her efforts to save energy don't end there.
I thought it'd be a good idea to turn down the temperature on our hot water heater.
And with her dad's help, she did.
And it turned out that it was up pretty high.
In the kitchen, she meets the challenge to conserve water.
So Lucy, tell us about this note you have posted here.
It says 1 cup per person. Basically, I was really tired of how many cups we always had on our counter, and it seemed very wasteful of water to be washing so many cups every day, when we could really each just use a single cup for everything.
It's something her mom, Anne, supports too.
I've become very conscious about the dishes and glasses that we use, reusing minimizing our dishwashing load and reusing dishes and glasses when I can.
Okay, so Lucy and family are learning a lot from the challenge. But so are these guys behind it.
I've learned so much about recycling and the environment, and I felt like I knew a lot before, but then it turns out that no. And so by coming here, I got to know a lot more.
Some of their favorite challenges?
I would say mine is school, because that is the most immediate place for kids to start implementing change and start showing their passions by creating clubs, starting initiatives.
Oh, Meatless Monday. That was a cool one because the greenest challenge was about making a meal or like a menu without meat, so I thought it was kind of fun to create that.
It's just taking one day out of the week to, eat a meat-free meal, and the amount of carbon it reduces is actually a lot.
Project coordinator Jonathan Foley checks every submission, and he's been impressed by what he's seen.
We've had students who have started eco-waste collection, electronic waste collections, totally on their own.
One of the challenges was to raise awareness about responsible electronics recycling. So I created this station for students to drop their electronic waste.
Hearing all this is all the reward Shills needs.
And to hear kids suddenly becoming activists around issues that they really care about and knowing that their voice matters is why we wake up to do this work every day.
When I got here, I can't say I was expecting the amount of work, but I also wasn't expecting it to be as gratifying as it has been.
I definitely feel like I have a lot more power than I thought I did in changing my own actions and in changing how my family makes lifestyle choices.
I feel her consciousness has rubbed off on me, and I think I'll feel her little spirit on my shoulder, nudging me away from some of my old bad habits.
It's really about trying to learn what you can about your habits, try and change what you can about your habits, and sort of put yourself in perspective of what your actions can do to the earth and the pollution you cause.
It's an ongoing mission to make the planet a healthier place for us all, one day at a time.
So many different aspects of our lives are implicated in pollution, and to see that we can change them.
So it's been really very heartening and hopeful to see what they're willing to do to save the world, basically, and save their planet.
Still ahead, the greenhouse gas with the biggest influence on climate change.
And it's not CO2. NASA scientists tell us what it's all about.
More Eco Company is coming up.
Infrared technology, 3D imaging, those are just two of the ways NASA helps us understand our planet.
Especially greenhouse gases, and one of them you don't hear much about.
Adam brings us the scoop from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
It drives hurricanes, forms clouds, and carries energy across the globe. So just what is this formidable force of nature? It's the greenhouse gas you haven't heard much about.
Water vapor is the greenhouse gas. Carbon dioxide is the next one down. The next one after that is methane. Then we also have ozone.
These greenhouse gases are what NASA scientist Ed Olson is studying as part of the Ayers project.
Ayers stands for the Atmospheric Infrared Sounder, an instrument on the Aqua spacecraft, which is in a polar orbit. We make 300,000 observations per day, land, ocean, pole to pole.
300,000 measurements a day?
Yes, we slice and dice the atmosphere.
It looks down at the Earth and measures infrared energy. That's heat from the sun absorbed by the planet and re-emitted into the atmosphere.
We feel it as heat on our own bodies. The warmer areas in my body are showing up as deep red. The cool areas in the background are blue.
Ayers uses that heat radiance to track water cycles, temperatures, and concentrations of greenhouse gases across the globe, like carbon dioxide.
So why are people talking about carbon dioxide so much more than water vapor when that's the #1 greenhouse gas?
Well, because carbon dioxide, we think we can put our arms around one of the sources, because it comes out of smokestacks, it comes out of our various human activity. There's not much we can do about water vapor.
Most of it comes from evaporating oceans. And remember, the planet's 2/3 water.
As we warm up a little bit, the atmosphere can carry more water vapor, which has an amplification factor on warming.
Water vapor forms clouds, and depending on where they are, they can either reflect the sun's heat or keep it from escaping.
Some of it goes up, some of it goes back down again, and that's how we can maintain our particular temperature that we know and love here on the surface of the Earth.
It's all part of the puzzle of how our planet could change in the future as it reacts to higher levels of greenhouse gases, be it natural or man-made.
We can only attempt to control the things that we emit ourselves.
It's a roadmap for the future that can help guide our actions now.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Eco Company. Thanks for tuning in.
To watch segments on the show or give us your feedback, go to eco-company.tv.
And remember, you too can be a part of the solution.
We'll see you back here next time
on Eco Company.
That's pretty cool. Let's check it out.
Yeah.